Hey, Plant Science, welcome to our little module all about plant cells. And you will probably think that a lot of this is review, or you have seen this, whether it be in a biology class or another A class that you've taken, but it's important to understand plant cells because, well, they make up cells, or they make up plants, right? And if we are not functioning correctly on a cellular level, then we're going to find that there are a lot of other issues throughout the plant itself, okay? So we're going to talk about what plant cells are, maybe a little bit how they're different from animal cells, do some activities when we're in class, and also take a look at some of those distinguishing similarities and differences between those cells, and then we'll get started on a little project called the Cell Celling Project. So let's get started. Our learning targets for today: I can describe the function of cells in living organisms, both animals and plants. Number 2, I can describe the function and location of various organelles within a plant cell. And lastly, I can compare and contrast plant-animal cells. So this is going to be a quick overview of the different cell parts. First, we have the endoplasmic reticulum, and this is what contains ribosomes and plays an important role in the production of proteins within cells. Ribosomes then are the sites of protein production and are synthesized by the nucleolus. Okay? The way I like to remember that is ribosome and protein. There's an R within protein, so ribosome protein. That helps me at least. Then we have the plasma membrane, and this is what surrounds the cell, and it's important for ion transport. It's responsible for determining what comes in and what goes out of the cell, kind of like the prison guard. The nucleus contains the genetic material, or the DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and is the site of transcription and replication. So the nucleus is probably the part that we have heard the most about within our biology or science classes that we've taken in the past, simply because it contains that genetic material. And later in the class, we'll spend a lot of time talking about DNA and genetics when we get into our plant breeding unit later in the semester. But for now, just know that the nucleus is that central mass within the cell that contains the DNA. Then we have our centrioles, and this is involved in spindle organization during cell division and are not bound by a membrane. Not the most important note, but just thought I'd throw it in there. Golgi apparatus is the protein modification area, and that receives vesicles and other and their contents from the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, modifies them, repackages them, and distributes them for the cell surface. So kind of like the post office and Staples, receives packages, maybe modifies the shipping address or the route in which it's going, repackages and distributes them to going out. Then we have our mitochondria, which is the site of aerobic respiration within the cell, and therefore supplies energy in the form of ATP. So a lot of us have probably heard that mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. In this case, they are. They supply that energy for the cell in order for it to function. Then we have our cytoskeleton or cytoplasm, and this is what supports the cell, maintains its shape, and aids in cell motility, and it's made up of microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. Lastly, we have our flagellum, and this is a substance that helps with cellular motion. So kind of think of the cytoskeleton as the jello of the cell that holds and glues everything together. Then we have our cell wall, and this is the thick ridge on the outside of the cell made of cellulose. And this is something that plant cells have that animal cells do not have. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Then we have chloroplasts, and chloroplasts are the part of the cell that produce chlorophyll to be used in photosynthesis. And then lastly, we have vacuoles, and these are the areas of the cell that store water and waste and provide structural support, kind of like a closet, if you will, like some place that can store fluids or solids or whatnot within the cell. Okay, we'll do this brain break when we get back into the classroom, but I think that's it for this little first video. I just wanted to introduce the plant cell and the different parts that are involved. In the next video, we'll compare and contrast plant-animal cells. Thanks for watching.